Commissioner Frisbee, you are live.
Okay. Good evening. I call to order the August 20th, 2020 Board of Commissioners regular session. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Commissioner Rochelle Hatcher,
Present.
Commissioner Jake Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Steve Frisbee,
Present.
Commissioner Derek King,
Present.
Commissioner Tommy Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Gary Tompkins,
Present.
Commissioner Kathy Sue Petty.
You're muted, Kathy Sue.
Here, sorry.
We have quorum.
Thank you. After a moment of silence, Commissioner King will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
The
Flag.
flag
of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty,
and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the August 20th, 2020 Board of Commissioners regular session agenda as presented?
So moved,
So moved,
Betty.
Miller.
Betty and Miller. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Commissioners August 6, 2020 regular session as presented?
So move Tompkins.
Support, Miller.
Tompkins and Miller. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty,
He's frozen.
Can we come back?
okay. Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee.
Yes.
We're just waiting on Kathy Sue.
Kathy Sue, if you're there, your video screen is frozen and we can't hear you.
I'm gonna try to text her.
Okay. There you go.
Is she back?
All right, is it still
Yeah.
me?
Yep.
Yes, sorry about that.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is citizens' time. During citizens' time, the board chair shall recognize any person wishing to address the board. A person recognized by the chair shall call in and state his or her name and community of residence. A person may address the board only once on the same matter during each period set aside by citizens' time on the agenda and only on matters that are relevant to county government. The board chair shall control the length each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes and shall not allow negative personal comments. Please mute your TV or computer when calling in, as the background sound will generate feedback. Please note that there's an approximate 30-second delay between the live meeting and the YouTube feed. Are there any citizens that would like to address their commissioners? there any citizens that would like to address their commissioners? Austin, how's it looking?
Looks like we got like a 30-second delay. Don't see any callers connected in yet. So I would give it like another minute here and I think we're
Okay.
good to roll.
So we got about a 30-second delay tonight?
Mhm.
Okay. Sometimes it's a little faster. Are there any citizens wishing to address their commissioners? Okay, we'll move along. Elected appointed county officials comments. David Gilbert. You should be on. Dave.
Hear me now?
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Prosecutor's office would like to welcome Gwen Walker to our office. She's our newest assistant prosecutor. She started yesterday. She spent 12 years working as a court clerk and court officer in the 54A District Court in Lansing. And then she spent a little bit before we got her in the defender's office in Ingham County. So we'd like to welcome her. She's replacing Patrice Lewis, who left our office to take a job in Kalamazoo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome her. Thank you. I was just saying welcome, Steve. I'm sorry, Chair.
Oh, you're good. Jen Bomba, please.
Night. This is so strange to be doing it this way because if I were in person, you could see my shirt. I am here tonight to assure you that we are working very diligently to promote Census 2020 across the county. We are kind of, like I say most nights, kind of data junkies. And so I'm going to give you a couple details on where we're at with census response. National response rate is at 64%. Our state response rate is at 69.3%. So we're a little above that state average. And then in Calhoun County, we're at 69.5%. And that's for self-response rate. We are, interestingly enough, 69.5% is where we ended in Census 2010. And so given that we have about a month to go in promotion and some really fantastic things yet to come in our final stretch, I'm pretty confident that we're going to exceed that number. We're working in some very specific neighborhoods to help them boost their response rate. So excited about that. We did receive some grant money. A while back, I shared that with you. We received roughly about $22,000 from the state of Michigan to help in our promotion efforts. And so what we propose to do looks a lot different than what we're really doing. And so we've really relied on Lucy to help us with communication. We've done a lot of display ads. You've probably seen our full page color ad. It's been in the Scene magazine. It's in Senior Times. We've put it in the Shopper, the Advisor, the Homer Index. We also had it translated and put into the Spanish newspaper, which is called the Nuevo Opinion. And so hoping to catch people that way with the information on how easy it is to respond. We are also still have a few weeks to go, and we're really excited about the things that we have left on tap. We are getting ready to attend. We feel like it's about time for us to kind of stretch ourselves and go outside. We are going to be sitting at farmers markets across the county for these next couple weeks, with an opportunity for citizens to actually complete their questionnaire on site if they haven't already done so. If they're not interested in sitting with us, we have some materials that we're going to hand out that give the information for them. We've created these nice little bookmarks that tell you how to do that from home via the website or by phone. We're also handing out some handy dandy reusable market grocery bags, and we're going to be doing that Battle Creek, Marshall, Albion, Homer, all as many as we can find to go to. That's where we're going to go. And so really looking forward to some of that stuff. And then I think most of you have seen the video that we created. Our grant dollars helped us work with Bluefish to create a very professional video. And that's going to be something that we can share while we're at the market. It's also something that I think we're going to show it to you tonight. I think Austin's getting it queued up here. We'll share it at the market. We'll let you guys share it as much as you can. And so I'll just stop and let Austin share it in case you haven't seen it yet.
Participating in the 2020 census is about more than just sharing how many people live in your house. Your completed form directly impacts programs that play an important role in the vitality of our community. In Calhoun County, census numbers are used to secure federal funding for programs like housing assistance for veterans, road improvements for safer travels, nutrition guidance for a healthier lifestyle, business development for boosting the economy, and Meals on Wheels for senior citizens. The funding available to a community is directly related to the number of people residing there. Every household counts, and an accurate count is crucial. It takes 10 minutes to make a positive impact in your community. Fill out your census form today to ensure that these important programs continue to help the people of Calhoun County. Participating is easy. Complete your form online at my2020census.gov.
So the audio in that was a little herky-jerky. So just imagine how great it will be if you are able to take a look at it and share it too with all of your audiences and all of the different ways that you work with people. You know, one of the things that was tricky was we went from having, when we proposed, for, like Jen was talking about for this grant, we had in-person meetings planned, and then we couldn't do that because of COVID. So we kind of had to change gears. And with this video, the reason why we went with a video locally was because we wanted to be able, we thought first about what are the things that we know are barriers between people filling out their census. And, a couple of those things are, understanding the local impact. If they understand how the census impacts them, they're more likely to complete their form. Also just wanting to gain trust. And so that was a big part of why we decided to put this together. The hope is that when people are seeing this advertisement on their social media, but then it will also be on local news as well, they recognize their community, and then they understand too why this is really important, and why, just the 10 minutes that it takes to fill out your census form is going to make a huge impact in our community. And we're in a really good spot. We know that, countywide, we're in a really good spot right now. So we did send you email. I sent you an email yesterday that included some of these things that we're up to right now. It included a link to that video, and then also it included a link to the website. If you go to calhouncountymi.gov/census, we made it super, super easy. If you go there, you'll be able to find assets for your social media accounts. And we tried to just make it so that all you have to do is right click and save the graphics for your social media accounts. And then also we have the words that you could put into the post of the post on social media as well. So we try to make it as super easy as possible. If you can share with your audiences, that would be great. All of those resources are in the email that I sent commissioners yesterday. I do also hope to forward that email to other elected officials. Jen and I were talking about that today. We thought, other elected officials might want to share that as well. So I'll try to do that for those of you who are on the phone. But ultimately, we really just wanted to take this big idea, the census, and make it local. And you're a big part of that. So that's why we want to make these resources available to you as well.
Thank you. One thing I would add that wasn't touched on in the video is it's how the representation in Congress is determined. It's based on population, and that's huge. So if we want to continue to be one of the top numbers in the country in U.S. congressmen, which I think is a good thing, we need to make sure that people are filling out their census. Okay. Any questions for Jen or Lucy? All right. Any other officials' comments? See any? All right. Next, we'll have a tribute honoring Jolene English with the 2020 Joanne Conkle Lifetime Achievement Award in providing senior services. The attachment presented, Commissioner Tompkins will present that. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Chair. Certainly honored to read the special tribute into the record honoring Jolene English for her being named the 2020 Joanne Conkle Lifetime Achievement Award for senior services. You can see it on the screen there. That's quite a nice award. All right, whereas Jolene English has worked for Carewell Services, the area agency on aging for Calhoun and Berry counties, providing services to older adults for over 23 years. And whereas Jolene has worked in aging services for over 34 years and has worked in numerous different helping positions, she's best known for her involvement in the Medicare Medicaid Assistance Program, the MAP. Through her work, Jolene has identified areas of concern for county seniors and was influential in improving the service of guardian finance and advocacy services and helping persons with guardians access Medicare Part D and other public services. Partnering with the Climate Change Coalition to provide energy efficient light bulbs to older adults in the county, and collaborating with the Battle Creek Fire Department to install smoke detectors in seniors' homes free of charge. Whereas Jolene has been recognized for outstanding service to Michigan's Medicare beneficiaries numerous times by statewide organizations, and whereas Jolene, after retiring from a leadership role providing benefits counseling, has continued to help Calhoun County older adults figure out complex Medicare and Medicaid issues and has mentored 2 regional MAP coordinators as well. And whereas Calhoun County Senior Services and Senior Millage Allocation Committee have created the Joanne Conkle Senior Services Achievement Award, which is awarded annually to recognize individuals who have given a lifetime of service, providing quality services and advocacy for seniors age 60 and over in Calhoun County, following the example set by Joanne Conkle. To recognize Jolene English's service to Calhoun County and its older adults, Jolene is the recipient of the 2020 Joanne Conkle Senior Services Achievement Award. Now therefore be it resolved by the Calhoun County Board of Commissioners that Jolene English is hereby honored and thanked for her many years of dedicated service to Calhoun County and older adult residents. And that will be signed by Steve Frisbee, Chairman of Calhoun County Board of Commissioners. So congratulations, Jolene. I think I might have seen Jolene. Was she on the call this evening?
She is.
Jolene, sorry that we haven't had a chance to actually officially meet. Being part of the Senior Millage Allocation Committee, hopefully at some point we'll get a chance to meet and I'll have in-person congratulations to you. But certainly your years of service is appreciated to seniors in Calhoun County, and we can't thank you enough. And I think this is a very well-deserved award recognizing you. So Helen, if there's anything you want to say as well.
You're muted, Helen. Thank you.
I want to echo Gary's thanks to Jolene for the work that she's done through the community. Jolene is a social worker who graduated from Western Michigan University, and Joanne Conkle, who many of you might have known, she was a commissioner in the 70s, and she also graduated from Western Michigan University with a degree from in social work. So she helped establish the Marion Birch Adult Daycare Center, and then was an administrator for the Calhoun County Medical Care. When she retired she became a really active member of the Fork Senior Center, of the Senior Millage Allocation Committee, served just on lots of different boards. And so she retired and was kind of failing in health. We created the Conkle Award to honor her. And so it's just really wonderful to see Jolene receive this.
Okay, can you hear me now if I speak?
Yep, sure
Okay,
can.
thank you. May I?
You may.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'm deeply honored to receive the Joanne Conkle Leadership Award, and I would like to thank Carewell Services, Area Agency on Aging for the nomination, and the Senior Millage Allocation Committee for their vote. It has been and still is a privilege to serve seniors in our community, and I've met a lot of wonderful people. Had the opportunity to work with many agencies and organizations, including when I look at the plaque, I've worked with Carl and Jane and Mickey, know them all well. And throughout my time at the Area Agency on Aging, I was actually managing some of the senior programs like home repair and vision, hearing, transportation. So I was able to experience all of that. And then as a social worker, connecting everyone with services. So I'm very pleased to be a part of the company on this plaque. Very, very, very honored, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jolene. May I have a motion to approve the proclamation as presented by Commissioner Tompkins?
So moved, Tompkins.
Support, Smith.
I have Tompkins and Smith. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Miller,
You're muted, Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries. On behalf of the entire board, Jolene, congratulations and thanks for all you've done. All right, consent agenda. We have 5 items on the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve them as presented.
So moved, Betty.
Support, Smith.
So a motion by Betty, supported by Smith. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
You're muted, Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries. We have no unfinished business. Now I'll turn it over to Administrator Controller Kelly Scott for this meeting.
Sorry, Jared, we had some committee workshops, sir. I apologize.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry.
That's no
Just real
problem.
quickly, just one committee to report out. The Senior Millage Allocation Committee met on Friday, August 7th. Obviously, we reviewed the agenda for upcoming August 28th strategic planning session, which is certainly more important than ever now that we were successful certainly in getting that millage renewal for another 10 years. So that now has even increased importance certainly as we move forward with that. As well as we had a special presentation. I want to point out Kate Turner, who's one of the workers there in the Senior Services Department, provided a County demographic report. And I will tell you, we was very impressed with the amount of information that was provided. So certainly great job to Kate on that. Regarding new business, we made the motion and to approve the September SMAC meeting being moved from September 4th to September 11th. We also will approve the recommendation for the community action minor home supplemental request in the amount of $80,000 that we'll see tonight on our agenda, as well as we also approved a mini grant from Carewell Services for the home area fresh food box distributions, which has went over quite well in the area. It's been taken advantage of and it's been very worthwhile. So certainly just some of the items that were on the Senior Millage Allocation Committee as we move forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I do have one update on the health board. We did meet on Monday and we finalized our budget to be submitted to all of you for approval in our next meeting. So worked out fairly well with the CARES Act funding, backfilling quite a bit of the hole. So we should be in fairly good shape this year. Anybody else? All right. Now I'll turn it over to County Administrator Controller Kelly Scott.
Mr. Chair, you will receive a written update report as soon as Lucy ships that off to you tonight. What I will do instead of reading the updates from that report is just mention a couple of items that are not included. So one thing I want to circle back to is on the consent agenda tonight, we received approval for both of our retiree healthcare plan renewals. And it comes earlier than our employee benefit renewals because of the Medicare enrollment timeline, but there was very good news within both of those. They were a decrease of approximately 18% for each plan, and that savings accrues directly to our retirees of the county. So for the plan that's less expensive, it amounts to roughly $600 a year less than they were paying this year. And for the higher end plan, amounts to more than $1,000 decrease for our county retirees. So that's very good news. We're also working with our benefits consultant on marketing all of the county's benefit plans under the leadership of Shambo, and we hope to have that information. We're very hopeful that we get just as good news on our costs for our employee plans. A couple of items that are in the works, in addition to the health department budget that will come before you in September. The county elected officials and department heads are very busy right now working on their budget requests for next year. They're due early September. And just a reminder, based on our assumptions and some reductions in revenues that were discussed with our Board of Commissioners Budget Committee, our direction for departments was to submit a budget request that in total is a projected roughly 10% decrease from the current year's budget to next year. That is not equal for all departments based on the number of vacancies that they already have, but significant decreases. So they're hard at work. Please have some sympathy for our department heads right now as they're working on that. Also coming for within September, coming to you will be the PA2 alcohol tax budget. Commissioner Tompkins and I attended a meeting today with Southwest Michigan Behavioral Health. And even though we're expecting alcohol tax to increase a little bit in future years, we're working with funding that has been already received for the current year. And as we've reported in the last couple of years, it's roughly half of what we used to get. And so our baseline budget is being reduced incrementally over the years. So most of that funding goes toward the county's specialty court, sobriety court, drug court. And so we will be bringing forth a recommendation for that after it goes through our oversight committee, which Commissioner Vetty is also a part of. Then in September also, you'll hear a presentation from our MSU Extension and 4-H programs. And then finally, some good news. The county was allocated an additional source of funding that relates to COVID response items of just under $500,000. So we're working to figure out the best utilization of that. And it has some flexibility to be able to be passed through either to other local governments, to nonprofits that provide local response to COVID, but also has the potential to increase the amount of response that we can provide, particularly to our vulnerable populations. So we've asked the department heads today to be thinking about that. We've got about a month or so to work through the State Department MEDC on a grant agreement, but we'll be bringing forth another project that relates to that. That's it for my updates. And then we can move into new business. We do have 8 items on the agenda tonight. The first one will be 12B1, which if you're looking at page numbers is 48. We have bookmarked the PDF document if that's easier for you. The first item tonight is a request that you approve the Lake Level Capital Project Fund Deficit Elimination Plan. This is a required plan in response to the 2019 financial audit. So our audit identified and reported to the State Department of Treasury that the Lake Level Capital Project Fund had a deficit fund balance, and really that relates to capital improvements being done ahead of assessments, which is the only funding mechanism of revenue for this fund. So it's really kind of a timing issue, but formally we're required to submit this plan with the Board of Commissioners approval. We had a deadline of August 4, so we had our finance office working with Fred Heaton, who is in the attendee list tonight with us, who can answer questions. But we worked with his office to come up with a 2-year plan. We're pretty comfortable that it's really just a timing issue that can be eliminated with future assessments for specific projects. The Lake Level Capital Project Fund includes a couple of sort of one-time larger projects, such as the Gang of Lakes inter-county drain project that will be assessed fully to the county road department. So it's just typical that the work needs to be done, and then the costs need to be assessed on future year tax rolls.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the 2019 Lake Level Capital Fund Project Deficit Elimination Plan as submitted?
So moved, Miller.
Support Betty.
Miller and Betty. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Vetty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
You're still muted, Rochelle.
Steve, can you hear me? I'm not muted. I couldn't hear. Like I didn't hear.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Can that be repeated for me, please? Because it kind of garbled when she was speaking. I'm sorry.
She called for your vote on 12B1 regarding the deficit elimination.
Okay, that's what I was trying to make sure. Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Father.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries.
Just want to thank Fred Heaton for being with us tonight and for making sure that we get this deficit eliminated, or there's a plan in place before we understand he's not running for election again. Next item is 12B2, page 59. This is our monthly financials. We just did monthly financials at the last meeting, but we are just wanting you to know that we're on track. Megan Banning, our deputy controller, is continuing to very diligently monitor the county's financials every month. I will say that this is through July 2020. And so to that end, our mid-year budget adjustment that you approved on August 6th really incorporated most of the variances that were noted here. There's also, we continue to note a running tally on the COVID responses. So for the county proper, we've expended about $750,000 to date on our response. For the Joint Operations Center, which we're also putting through our general ledger, it's about $500,000. And again, we expect all of those costs to be covered by federal and state sources. And that's all I would highlight on the July financials.
Right. Can I have a motion to accept the Calhoun County July 2020 financial statements as presented?
So moved. Hatcher.
Support Betty.
Hatcher and Betty. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item 12B3 starts on page 110. This comes from the Office of Senior Services and the Senior Millage Allocation Committee. Item that Helen Guzzo, I think, mentioned. There The Senior Millage Allocation Committee has already approved this. This is a request for supplemental funding for community action for the senior minor home repair program, an additional $80,000, and it's based on eliminating the waiting list. So it brings the total of their contract from $204,000 to $284,000, and it provides up to $3,500 each for seniors who need home repairs. And Helen obviously is in attendance, and the chair of the SMAC committee, Commissioner Tompkins, could probably answer questions as well.
Let's get a motion. Can I have a motion to approve the senior millage supplemental funding of Community Action's minor home repair program as presented?
So moved, Tompkins.
Smith.
Tompkins and Smith.
Support Hatcher.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we're good to go. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
See, and then I go.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item 12B4 is on page 113. This comes from Community Development under the leadership of Jen Bomba, who's also here tonight. I believe the final step in approvals needed for the Albion Trailhead Development Project, National Resources Trust Fund. So again, this is an item that we brought before you before with required public hearings, et cetera. It was a $400,000 project that requires a little over $100,000 match, and it relates to the 65 acres that will become kind of a rustic trailhead within Albion Township, adjacent to the land that Albion College has. And project includes demolition of existing structures, a little bit of trail paving, parking with benches, signage, and then just making sure that the area in a sort of basic way is good for residents to walk around and I guess another sort of park opportunity.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the Albion Trailhead Development Grant Agreement as presented?
So move.
Support,
Hatcher.
Tompkins.
Hatcher and Tompkins. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vetty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries.
Just want to thank Jen Bomba again for her leadership. I know these grants require a lot of paperwork, a lot of online submission, site planning and all of that. And we have a lot of them in the works, but they're great for community development, economic development, and appreciate her efforts in that regard. So next item 12B5 is on page 149. This is a proposed revision to one of our policies, number 340, which is employee benefits relating to our non-union employees. Of course, this is with the recommendation of Kim Archambault, our HR Labor Relations Director. And so this is kind of related to the ongoing COVID-19 response efforts in that we have a policy that allows for reduction of hours for our non-union employees and allows us to choose to maintain their benefits. It only allowed for a reduction from full-time, essentially 40 hours down to 32. What we're hearing is because of the back to school plans and the need for more flexibility to accommodate our employees that have children, We would like to propose that that get reduced to 20 hours. Again, the county would still pay our portion of the benefits. The employee would still be responsible for the same cost share that they otherwise would as a full-timer. It would provide, again, both the ability for our employees to keep their jobs, keep their benefits, and stay home with their children part of the week if they needed to. It would also provide a cost savings to the county to the extent that we would be saving that proportion of the weekly wages.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the revised policy number 340, employee benefits as presented?
Still moved, Miller.
Support Betty.
Miller and Betty, any discussion?
I'd like to ask something.
Yes.
I know. So is this something that they're gonna take unpaid, or is it something that's we're backed by government, by the state?
So it depends on the option that we choose. I know that's not a very good answer, so I'm going to defer to Kim, but basically there are different options. If the employee chooses to do a voluntary partial furlough program like we've been doing, then potentially they could apply for unemployment for the reduction. There are different ways to do that. If it is really just the employer or the department head saying, you know, we don't have a full workload, we need to reduce your hours, potentially they would be receiving lower wages. But there are options under the unemployment system and others for, you know, them to use either their leave time, the Expanded Medical Leave Act, or other options. So this kind of is a complementary provision, and I just want to emphasize this policy only applies to our non-union employees. So we still have both our union contracts in place and also the expanded emergency health leave policy in place for all of the union employees. So I probably confused you more, so I'm going to ask Kim to step in and save me.
I mean, I think that covered basically all of the options. Yeah, I mean, that was a perfect summary of it.
This is something that we allow union employees to, if they need time with their kids at home, and work with them to make sure that they can take care of their families.
Yeah, so for voluntary, all the union contracts have a voluntary furlough provision already in them. So the answer to that is yes. Depending on how much leave time they've already had during some of the building closure time, they may still have benefits available to them under the expanded family medical leave, and that is with 2/3 pay. So it depends on the individual situation and how much time they've already had and those types of things. So yeah, the answer is yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? I had a interaction with a county non-union employee this morning. It's a very difficult time for parents if you have kids in school. And she was telling me about her child is going to be in school 2 days a week. It's supposed to start next week. The child is either going to be in school Monday or Tuesday or Thursday, Friday. And it's Thursday and she doesn't have an idea next week yet. So I think providing a little bit of flexibility is a good idea. I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing. I think this is mostly gives us the option if we face something like this again to be able to do it. And I'm supportive of it, just out of the fact that we've got to support our employees and allow them to help with their children's education. So that's today's environment. Any other comments? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Petty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, the next two items come from the Health Department. And so it looks like Bridget Rickenbaugh, our Deputy Health Officer, is in the attendee list and could answer questions for both of these. They're basically kind of forward requests relating mostly to next year budget, but having to do with the school year, and they're both relating to the school wellness program. So item 12B6 is on page 163. This is a request for staffing increase related to the school wellness program. And so as noted in the cover memo, 2 of our school districts that are still utilizing school nurses are requesting an increased number of nurses. And Battle Creek Public Schools is basically asking for 1 more nurse at their expense. And then Lakeview is wanting additional nursing and also some technicians to help out with the school nursing. So it's a total increase of a little over 3 FTE. And sort of related to the next item, the health department has secured some grants to help with our portion of that to reduce the burden on the schools. We don't expect this to impact the county's budget because of that funding. And it mainly relates to next year's budget that will be brought before the board next month. But in order to get them on board now and trained and in place, because as Commissioner Frisbee mentioned, school starting next week, we'd like to get the proper authorization from the board just to increase the staffing immediately.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the Calhoun County Public Health Department School Wellness Program staffing FTE increase as presented?
So move, Miller.
Support, Hatcher.
Miller and Hatcher. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Betty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes, please.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item 12B7 is on page 165. This is a request under our grants policy that the board accept grants from the Miller Foundation in the amount of $50,000 and the Binda Foundation in the amount of $150,000, which equates to $50,000 per year to help support the school wellness program. Really, since the inception of our school nursing program, which a lot of county health departments do not even provide throughout the state, we have really survived on leaning on our local community foundations for grants, in addition to significant contributions by our school districts. So the Battle Creek Community Foundation, the Kellogg Foundation have supported the Battle Creek school system. In this case, these 2 foundations are helping the Harbor Creek School District and the Lakeview School District basically just lower the cost on their budgets, which are tight right now, partially due to COVID and all of the requirements that they conduct school differently. So this will really just help this program be sustained over the next year, actually over the next 3 years when it comes to the Miller or the Binda Foundation grants.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the Binda and Miller Foundation School Wellness Grants as presented?
So move, Tompkins.
Support Betty.
Tompkins and Vetty. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Betty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes, please.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries.
I want to thank Bridget and also, of course, for being assertive and reaching out to our local funding sources to help out the county's budget and provide that needed service. I'm also going to mention, Bridget, since you're here, that we need to get you a new tax exempt form because we have the one that you have references finance director from many, many years ago. So note on that. Last item, but not least, 12B8, which is on Page 442 of our very long agenda is our fiscal year 21 Veterans Service Fund grant application. Our VA manager, Aaron Edlifson, is also in our attendees list tonight, and I'm happy to have him with us. Again, this is another opportunity to leverage state funding to help our veterans. There's a base amount of $50,000, which is referenced here. And then there's also a possibility to get additional funding based on availability. And I think I'll ask Aaron actually to describe a couple of the cool new things they're planning to do with this grant over the next year.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Like Kelly said, I'm Aaron Edlifson, Director of Calhoun County Veterans Affairs, and the amount of the grant started at $50,000. That's the appropriation that we're supposed to get annually, but it's actually up to $64,512 right now. And last year it peaked at $108,000. So it has the possibility to go up considerably, and we're hoping that it does, of course. Some of the things on the grant are things we've done every year: advertising, the financial assistance. Somewhat new is food vouchers. So since the beginning of June, we spent $18,000 on food vouchers in the community. So it's a much needed program. We're hoping the state continues it, and this grant will help us buy into that. We're also partnering with the clerk. Our county offers veterans ID cards, and we're going to partner with them so that becomes free to the veterans, hopefully. Right now it's $10 a card. So it's not a big cost, but it is high enough to be a burden to some that might want it. And then last, and this is what I'm most excited about, we've partnered with a small company in Battle Creek to offer scuba certification for veterans that have been diagnosed with PTSD. So the evidence that we gathered was anecdotal, but it is out there, and there's some other companies, some nonprofits out there that have offered veterans with PTSD scuba, and it has shown to have some redemptive qualities to it. And so we're hoping that the state approves the grant so we can offer that to veterans in Calhoun County.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the fiscal year 21 Calhoun County Veterans Service Fund grant application as presented?
So move, Hatcher.
Support Miller.
Hatcher and Miller. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Petty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes, please.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Citizens' time. Again, our next item, same rules apply as during the first citizens' time. Please limit your time to 3 minutes and no negative personal comments. Please mute your TV or computer when calling in, as the background sound will generate feedback. Please note that there's approximately 30-second delay between the live meeting and the YouTube feed. Is there anyone that would like to address their commissioners? Anyone in the queue, Austin?
Queue is empty. I'd give it a minute here, but no one looks like they've connected in.
Is there anyone that would like to address their commissioners? Is there anyone who would like to address their commissioners? All right, we'll move along. Commissioner time. Any commissioners? I do have one subject tonight, and that is there's some discussion going on between courts, prosecutor, health department, and administration. I've been involved in that just a little bit about returning to jury trials. And of course, that would have to be limited in how they're conducted, and we'll have to do some movement of courts and things like that. But there is talk about that. There's quite a backlog now building up, 5 months worth. So the prosecutor would like to get back going, and most of the judges have expressed that they would be very supportive of that as well. So more news to follow.
Great.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Chair Frisbee. Just wanted to add real quickly, the State Community Corrections Advisory Board met this afternoon. And while we were all hoping to see a budget and figure out what type of impact COVID may have had on those operations, unfortunately, one wasn't available. Although we did have a lengthy discussion and that focused on pretrial services and the importance of those right now under these circumstances. So I'm looking forward to getting the opportunity to review applications on that front. But really, the circumstances we find ourselves in really lend to the significance of pretrial services and keeping folks out of facilities, as much as possible. So that's all I had to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? All right. Claims payable. Can I have a motion to approve the Calhoun County claims payable for July 31st, 2020 through August 12th, 2020 in the amount of $4,225,625.57 as presented?
So moved, Betty.
Support Miller.
Betty and Miller. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Tompkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Petty,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher,
Yes, please.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Are there any announcements? All right, seeing none, thanks to everybody for joining us, especially all of the attendees. And we appreciate all their support and being willing to share with us. Thank you, commissioners, and everybody have a great night. This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night now.